see it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either and not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed. Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at the wheel tab up the inside for the race leaders. We head down to the first corner.
And these guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch him to hit.
This will be a great run for Fuller here. Yeah, if we go right off the track in the final quarter, that'll have Fuller get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller for turn 1. And Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall. And Sarah Testa hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Howden looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. Into the gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide.
For this, getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag race line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door, banging doors, fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
Short tracks are known from intense racing across the United States. They put on some fantastic racing for everyone involved and lead to some fantastic on-track action. Well, you take that, you take a very tight championship battle, and you're going to have yourself a fantastic race tonight. That's exactly what we got for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. My name is Peter Kuna here with Connor Horn tonight. And Connor, looking forward to getting this race underway. It is definitely going to be a blast. Qualifying already underway here, and pretty much drivers already wrapping it up. They had about 10 minutes to get some few laps in, so little chance that they can really improve much from where they at. Currently on the top of the board. Surprised, or I guess not surprised, it's Alan Elwood currently leading the standings, and he's done a fantastic job. He's been arguably the quickest driver all season, so I guess this isn't too much of a surprise to see him there.
Been really good at the short tracks. Won New Hampshire. He won the Nashville Fairgrounds race. He's been a beast at any track under a mile and a half, or under a mile in general. Like I said, something that I personally expected. He's got a big lead when it comes to time too. He's about 0.08 quicker than second place Thomas Bresci, championship rival. So this is one big bonus point to pick up if you can hold on to this pole.
Bresci, the man currently leading the points by a slim margin, only 6 points over Elwood. So it's coming down to the wire with 2 races left to go, this being the penultimate one of the season. Bresci's going to do his best. He actually drops back to third. I think Massey in the 20 car, he jumps up into second place.
Well, Massey's always a guy who's quick when he makes his starts. Could have been in the fuel finals, just didn't make enough starts and didn't have enough points, but he's always a threat to win. Was really fast when he raced Charlotte, but obviously got outdueled by that 5 machine in those races, as he does jump up to second, and second still distant because Elwood even improved to a 20.218, which is about 0.09 quicker than Massey, a full 10th quicker than Bresci. So this 5 car, he needs to perform to gain those 6 points and then some, and he is on it right now.
Yeah, also big to Shane Terrian looking with a really solid shot after some decent chances after the first 3 rounds. Just has not been able to make up some opportunities, and he's on the outside looking in, 23 points back. He's got to hope that Elwood and Bresci run into some trouble to try to get another shot. Currently 4th at the moment. But as these guys finish up qualifying here, what do you think we can expect for a race here at Martinsville with such a big championship battle in play?
I still think we're going to see a lot of chaos. We might not see the chaos at the front of the field right away, but I think we're going to see a lot of bump and runs, a lot of beating and banging happening. I think we're going to see a lot of people without front bumpers and rear bumpers by the time this race ends. Nothing's going to be clean about this one. We've had a bunch of clean races in fuel the past few weeks to start these fuel finals, minimal yellows, but I think I would not be surprised if that streak came to an end, because Martinsville is just not a place where you can avoid mayhem for very long.
Yeah, I also saw there also very cool on the track, only 83 degrees track temp, and I think we might see this race go into night, if not very close to it, very late in the afternoon here. As these guys rocking past the line here, I think they'll have a chance to complete one more lap. Rusty going to pull to the side. I think third's going to be the best for him in this 24 machine. Elwood still also out on track. Tarian looks like he's going to pull it aside. So for Alan Elwood, looks like he's going to collect yet another pole this season for him.
Yeah, unless someone can just get something at the buzzer. Breslau Jr. doesn't look like a very clean lap. An 8.24 definitely won't do it. Riley Thompson, Hayden Pistorius, I believe, are the only two cars left to put a time. Thompson's always really quick. A 3.44 only puts him 6th. And Hayden Pistorius, a 5.56, puts him 17th, second to last on time. So once again, Alan Elwood getting another pole. And like I said earlier, a big bonus point to get at this stage of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and qualifying now just wrapping up, and we're finally getting ready to get seated for the race. 175 laps on tap for tonight's event, and for these guys to get underway here. And while they're getting lined up, let's go through your starting lineup. Starting on pole, as we just mentioned, Alan Elwood, one of the quickest drivers this season so far, still proving it. He's only had one start outside the top 4, and that was at Talladega. That was in 13th, so that's a bit of an exception there. Otherwise, he's been absolutely on fire when it comes to qualifying. Nick Massey lined up in second with Thomas Rusty in third, and Shane Terry rounding out your top 4.
Then got the rest of your top 10. Row 3, Brad Slaughter Jr., who's had a decent fuel final so far. Riley Thompson on the other spectrum has had a terrible fuel final, trying to turn it around with a good run today. Then Tyler Hensley and Braxton DeWeese, two drivers who've been really solid lately. And then the end of that top 10, Row 5, Case Lakatos and Will Roberts.
Yeah, moving on back, we find Chad Simpson sitting in the 42 machine in 11th place. Michael Stroll in 12th, pretty far back considering he's still 4th in the championship. Again, he's also kind of hoping that the top 2 run into some troubles for tonight. Looking back at 13th, we find Casey Shue in the 4 with Danny Ware sitting next to him in the 19th car in 14th. Wilbur Logan lining up in the 85 and 15 with Tom Bourne in 16th.
Then the final 3 drivers, Hayden Pistorius qualifies 17th alongside Jonathan Gervin at 18th, and the final driver tonight, David Mott Jr., 19th, the only driver to not put a time down. So 19 cars on this tiny paperclip track. It doesn't mean it's not going to be chaotic. It doesn't matter if you have 5 cars or 50 cars. This track creates action.
Yeah, absolutely does, and it really, you don't need, as you mentioned, you don't need too many cars to put on a show, and definitely the guys up in front for what they're fighting for. Not even in just this race, you got guys like Nick Massey who really don't care about how the points are going to play out, and he's got a pretty quick car underneath him, so he's just going to say to heck with Elwood's and Bressy's battle. He's going to go out there and try to win the race. Those two, though, Elwood and Bressy, get with a lot on the line, and we're going to see, the big thing too is going to be how much of these guys are going to risk it when it comes down to it.
Well, track position is going to matter. Get the laps led, get most laps led, let alone the win. You're going to want to be at the front for as many laps if you're Bressy or Elwood or even Shane Terry and Michael Stroll, who need every single point they can get. You're going to want track position. You don't want to be in the middle of the pack at a track like this because that's where the trouble usually happens. So everyone's going to be trying to fight for that bottom line. You're not going to see a lot of passes on the top lane unless it's really stacked up on that bottom with maybe cars that are slow or just cars that are on old tires or something like that. You're going to want the track position right away.
Also looking at the track temp again, it's even cooler than it was in qualifying with the sun nearly completely gone down to 79 degrees.
Sorry, just quickly, Alan Elwood's going to be starting from the pits. He didn't make the grid in time, so that's really big.
Oh, yeah.
That is really big. I'm sorry to, what's the word?
No, that's championship implications right there. I'm trying to get a camera angle on him. But yeah, there's Alan Elwood sitting in the pits. Again, he's going to officially be starting on pole, but from the pits, he's essentially going to be starting 19th, even further back, and here's the field coming around. So, oh boy, I'm sure Bressy is going to be licking his chops. I'm not sure what happened for Elwood. I hope everything's okay. I mean, he is sitting in his car, so he is ready to get going, but that's already a big storyline going on. We didn't even drop the green flag yet.
Yeah, he must have entered and then exited, and then everyone gridded up, and he was left out. So I think Nick Massey might be the control car here. He did get the second starting position, so he'll be starting the race from the outside, and he'll get this race going, and we are green from Martinsville.
Indeed, here we go. Green flag in the air, Martinsville. We're underway. Already 3 wide in the background as Nick Massey leads him down to turn 1.
Massey's going to take the lead. That's big for the 5 at least. He's not going to have Bresci getting any bonus points on him quite yet as the field roars out of turn number 2. Everyone gets away cleanly, and Elwood finally gets out of his pit stall, actually goes down the garage area to get going as Nick Massey leads lap number 1.
Yeah, I think he was heading that way to be safe, so he's trying to get back on the track. He's got a long race ahead of him. Meanwhile, Bresci looking to try to get past 20 and Nick Massey. Now, big thing for him is should he push now or should he wait till later? Looking further back, though. Battle between Brad Slaughter Jr. and the 56 of Thompson for 4th place. Looks like Thompson's going to win that spout.
Elwood actually went down pit road again. Not sure what that's for, but he's going to go pit road again and officially go 1 lap down. No one.
Ooh, this is
not going to be easy. It's not going to be difficult to get that lap back unless it goes really green. It's going to be hard to get anyone a lap down tonight, as we're starting to see the front 4 or 5 sort of spread each other out as that 24 hunts to lead.
And he pulls back into his pit stall, so there's something definitely going on with Elwood in his camp. So this is not boding well for him. We'll have to see, really get word of what's going on there. But Massey, Bresci, Shane Terry in your top 3 at the moment. Single file. Ooh, there's a car line. There you see the 44. Tyler Hensley way out of the groove and almost into the wall.
You can already see how hard these guys are pushing these cars, trying to get everything they can, as close to that outside wall as you can on exit. Try everything you can to get that outside line to work. Hensley's already trying to make that top line work, and he's got right front damage because of it. He's going to fall back a position, give that position to Casey Lagadas.
That means he's even trying to make that high lane work. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that top lane here at Martinsville. You see time and time again guys getting shoved down a lane and really nowhere to go from it, so he's going to get put himself back in behind Casey Lagadas, and then we'll continue onwards. Looking a little bit closer further up, there's Braxton Deweese working on the back of Brad Slaughter Jr., who we saw trying to take a spot away from Riley Thompson, but he's going to have to wait in line back in 6th.
And this is huge for the championship. This really plays it into Bresci's hands. Elwood's left the session. He's completely out of the session right now, so he's already going 5 laps down. This could easily be championship over. We don't even know what the issue is. It must be some sort of hardware issue, but that is just crushing to have a season so dominant, and he might not even have a chance to win it.
I know, it really is going to be heartbreaking for Bresci. He doesn't care, though. I think he's going to breathe a sigh of relief. Now it's just a matter of getting down to it, and he's also still got a lot to lose.
Triple Case Lagadas almost got turned out of 4. He's able to save it. I think he went off the bumper of Hensley, but those two get it back going as they almost go 3 wide.
In turn 4 is trying to slot down in front of the 44, Tyler Hensley, a little bit sideways for the 50, I guess that's putting it lightly. Now he's trying to defend. He's got Tom Bourne in behind who's going to throw it to the inside in turn 3. And so we talked about these guys elbows up very early on.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get anything they can. It's single file out. The top 9 are pretty much gone. Casey Shoes leading this trade in 10th, Pastorius 11th, and they're still battling hard between Lagadas, Tom Bourne, Tyler Hensley. All of them pretty stacked up as Bourne gives a little bit of a shot to that 50th Lagadas.
It's a great line looking into turn number 3 here, riding on board with the 44, Tyler Hensley right in behind. He's also going to be licking his chops, looking to the inside, going to try to follow Tom Bourne on through. Lagadas still making the outside lane hold, at least for the moment.
The only way to make that outside line work, pinch as hard as you possibly can. Even then, the 50's not going to be able to make it work. The 84 gets by him as Danny Ware gets really loose out of turn 2, is able to save it, but the 50 barely slots down in front of the guy who just turned him in the 44 of Hensley. Almost clips the curb there, but he's at least down to the bottom.
Looking behind, David Mott making a move up the inside of Danny Ware. He's already found a little bit of wall there off of turn 4. He's trying to defend, keep the 14 down at bay, but David Mott with a solid climb already. And should be able to clear by the time they get to turn 3. We'll get the pass done. Up ahead, Stroll working to the inside of Chad Simpson. They're side by side now into 1.
Yeah, he's been really hounding him the last few laps, and he's just finally able to make it work as he's trying everything he can to get by, and now he finally has to get back in line here.
And for Stroll from 12th already up to 8th. That's pretty good, 12 laps. He's already starting to make his way on forward through the field. Best of luck to him. Not particularly easy places past Martinsville. Definitely have to work for it.
Danny Ware's been getting roughed up. That's one guy who's been getting roughed up. He's doing the roughing up to Boomer Logan now. Gave him a little bit of a shot. He's fallen all the way to 17th from 14th, and Tyler Hensley's had it even worse than him, 7th to 14th, as Ware's really giving the bumper to Boomer Logan.
Already. On lap 14, already giving the bumper. We'll see how this
16.
goes. Yeah.
Every position matters. Every point matters, especially Danny Ware, because I believe he is I think he's in the fuel final, so any
He
point
is.
matters. And we didn't even talk about that. The mid-pack, it matters to some people, and the mid-pack is separated by about 3 or 4 points, some guys, so every point matters for those guys especially.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, so looking at it, Chase Terrian 23 points back, Michael Strolley 27 points back, so between those two, very close as well. And then, as you mentioned, some other guys, Dewey, Simpson, Thompson, all separated by around 10 points. 10 points between them. You could even throw in Casey Lakatos into the ring as well. So those guys trying to make up points over their competitors. While it may not be for the championship, still an important note. And also looking at the top 3, it looks like they're starting to close in just a little bit. Chase Terrian trying to catch back up to Bressie and Massey. Massey, though, putting on leading the field on down every single lap he's led.
Massey was the fastest that time, the last time by, this time by a 7.41, still the fastest in the field, so no one's really able to touch him right now. We'll see if we get a long run here, if he's able to keep that pace. I can't imagine a lot of people were expecting a long run, but that could be what occurs here if everyone's single filed out and not really being too aggressive at the front.
And another victim for Stroll as he gets on by Will Robertson. I think Roberts actually let him by. It's his, I believe, teammate. So let him by on the outside going to turn 1. So another spot for Stroll up into 7th. This 8 car might be a car we want to keep an eye on. Had qualified fairly poorly back in 12th, but now showing some decent race pace here up into 7th.
And not usually where he qualifies, he's usually qualifying up front, but just didn't have the pace on one lap. But he's able to, you know, motor his way through the field. He kind of did a little bit of that last week as we almost have a spinner out of 4. Hayden Pastorius really wheeling that car, getting those rear tires cooked as he just lets Hensley by so he doesn't wreck himself.
Yeah, this is going, he's actually fighting with Casey Lakatos, taking a look back at that. And Hensley in behind as well.
He's going to really try to throttle up here, and it's just not he's not going to get any grip, and he just lets Hensley by before hitting the inside wall.
Let's try to go on board with that to see how much he was wheeling it. Maybe there's a lot of action there. Looking to kick it back to the right, throwing the car back, get back in line. And managed to do so. But yeah, it's not the thing you want to be doing, especially only 20 laps into the run.
No, you need to keep those rear tires on the car. If we get a long run like this, you're going to cook a right rear tire just that quickly, and you're going to continue to wheel spin like that, and it's just going to get worse to the point where you can't even put the throttle fully down. It's going to feel like you're driving a COT at 1.5 miles. It's going to be treacherous if you don't keep those rears on the car, because you cannot drive without those.
Will Roberts, he was let his teammate back a few laps ago, looking like he might actually want to maybe think about passing him again. He's caught up to the back bumper of the 8. Not sure, they might just decide to follow in line, but Roberts also showing some decent pace, especially in the later half of the season. That's a pretty good run. Namely, Dover almost finished second. It was just beaten up by Thomas Bressie there.
I think he finished 3rd backwards, if I'm not mistaken. He was definitely in a wreck when he finished at that position. He had a good race there, had a decent showing last week. I don't believe he got the finish to show for it, but he has been strong in the field finals.
Take a look back, David Mott now making a pass on Hayden Pastorius for 14th position, both of them side by side.
They're starting to kind of shuffle. We're starting to see drivers who wore the tires out and who are keeping the tires on. Ahmad Jr.'s a guy who's been able to keep the tires on it so far, +5 so far in this race, which I believe is the highest for anyone. Michael Stroll equals him 12th to 7th, so 2 big movers so far as we start to get a little bit of a battle for the lead. Bressie, last 2 or 3 times by, has been a tick faster than Nick Massey.
Yeah, take a look at that. Bressie last time by 21, pretty much 21 flat for Massey. Slightly slower by about 0.04 of a second. Might not seem like a lot considering how close they've been running this entire race. That does mean quite a bit. And even did last time through another 0.04 of a second. So he's been inching closer ever so slightly to Massey. And again, still a lot of laps left. Still got over 150 laps left to go. So a lot of racing ahead for Bressie. And again, curious if he's going to try to play the smart or not. We'll have to see as the yellow is out for Hayden Pastorius. And I guess that isn't too surprising considering how sideways we saw him a few laps ago. And it was out in the same corner.
Yeah, much earlier this time. He's probably going to try to put the throttle down. Tries to look under Mott Jr. Actually hops the curb, which will really get you sideways. He's able to keep it off the wall. But when you hop that curb, it's difficult to really control, especially when you're getting the wheel spin off the corners like he does. It's going to clip it right there, and that just completely gets the car out of whack.
Small spin for Pastorius. I think maybe got some slight damage to the left as he was trying to get the car back straight. But other than that, just going to have to come down and get more tires. And speaking of which, already seeing some pit strategy. Massey and Bressie staying out. A few more drivers near the front decided to come on down to the pits.
think with 3 extra sets at your disposal, you'd want to pit about around every 40 to 45 laps. So this is a bit early to get that first set of tires, but if this goes green to the end, which it, in my opinion, somewhat likely it does, you have a really good shot of getting to the front and staying at the front. The only drawback to this is there's a yellow. You're going to get caught with that being down a set of tires, and you could also get caught up in a wreck in the mid-pack, because Shane Tarrant, the first one to get on pit road, not the first to get off of pit road. It's going to be Riley Thompson.
Yeah, Riley Thompson was got to probably give his pit crew a little bit of a raise. Went 5/10 faster on their stop than Shane Tarrant, so I think that's probably what got him that extra spot. So Thompson up into 11th. Everyone else actually make that up to 10th. The same stories. He's now finally come on down to pit lane. So everyone else in front has decided to stay out. So it's effectively half the field went one way, half went the other. This will be an interesting thing to see. Is the 25 laps old tires, are they going to be worse for these guys? Are they going to be better? My money's on no. I don't think it's going to quite help them a lot.
Yeah, the fall off wasn't that great. It wasn't that big, and it's really hard to pass at Martinsville without using the bumper, so we'll get to really see how patient those guys on new tires are. Best time by Nick Massey at 20.44. His last full lap under green was a 21.09, so about 7/10 of fall off in about 25-30 laps. Not very great. Don't expect them to fly back up through the field with those new tires, but they'll get up there at some point without a doubt.
Yeah, also I didn't get to mention this too. If I do sound very nasally, I do apologize. I am sick with something. I honestly don't know what it is. It's not coronavirus, thank God. But yeah, so I've been a little bit stuffy all day today, so sorry about that. I'm just happy that I was feeling a lot worse in the morning, so I took some medication. I feel significantly better than I did in the morning. Otherwise, if I felt like I did in the morning, I would not have been able to do this broadcast. So hopefully I should be better by tomorrow. But yeah, so if you're just wondering why you sound a little bit weird, there's the reason why.
The reason I sound weird, there is no good reason. I just sound like this. I got no excuse like you do.
Nah, it's fine. As we get ready here, we got 1 to green. Massey and Bressie lining up yet again. Is there anything Bressie could do different this run? At least on the restart, maybe try to get this away from Massey. It's gonna be tough starting that outside lane.
I don't even know if he has to do anything extra. He came in tonight with a 6-point lead over Elwood, and now Elwood's not even in the race, and he's dead last. As it stands, he had a 17-point lead in tonight over Shane Tarrant, and right now that's growing with how far down the order Tarrant is. He just has to be calm, cool, and collected, because right now he has no competition as Massey goes green immediately.
Green flag in the air, back racing again here at Martinsville. Massey leading them now once again into turn number 1. It's a bit of a pile going down through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide, almost 4 wide for a second there as everyone's working their way on through, especially the guys in the back with fresher rubber. They're trying to take advantage, move up some spots. How about Riley Thompson all the way up into 7th already?
I don't know how he was able to do that, but he made a bunch of time up there. But now he's got guys 2 wide, Casey Shue and Chad Simpson in front of him. He's going to try to follow the bottom line through, but the 4-car Shue gets much better grip as he forces it 3 wide. Not quite. He's showing patience.
Yeah, you really are going to need a lot of that patience. Don't want to use up people too early in the run. Speaking of you, a little bit of a door from the 42 to the 4 of Casey Shue. Chad Simpson on the inside trying to make this work, but Shue pinching him down, keeping him at bay.
Had to pinch down as well there as he's going to go up the track. Maybe a bit of a shot from the 56 as the 42 Chad Simpson clears him, but here comes the 56 of Thompson to get right behind him, get by Casey Shue, almost gives the 4-car a little shot. And
wow,
he gets
and look at Riley Thompson. Great turn down on exit. Going to immediately get to the inside of the 42. I don't think Chad Simpson's going to bother fighting this. He knows it's a losing battle. They try to tuck back in line, but the gap's already gone. There's Casey Shue and Brad Slaughter Jr. lined up in behind trying to take the spot.
That restart didn't go well for the 83 at all. He's going to send it under Tom Bourne, just hip check the 84 out of the way, but we almost got a spin in the back. That was Boomer Logan able to save him. That 83 had a terrible restart, lost track position, and he just completely doesn't look like he has the car under him right now as he had to body check the 84 to get by him.
Here comes Tyler Hensley as well. So a lot of the guys got the older tires getting stuck on the outside lane, and everyone just pretty much freight trading them on by. Back up to Riley Thompson, already caught up to Will Roberts. Now is going to have a look up the inside into turn 1. He's absolutely flying on the fresh rubber.
Definitely not what I expected. I didn't expect it to be that quick, but it's definitely a big advantage to have those fresh tires right now. If this goes long enough, it works for them. If the run goes long enough, one less tire set won't really come into play, and they'll just be able to keep their track position and run with it. And it's a really good strategy play if that's able to work out for them. It could get Riley Thompson a win, which is something he really needs to get his momentum back going in the right direction, because he has been on a cold streak lately.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make something of this run. Speaking of which, looking back on Massey and Bresci, your top two breaking away for the rest of the field. Michael Stroll and Thompson in behind in third and fourth. There you see Brad Slaughter Jr. Thought about having a look up the inside. Roberts is going to get forced off the track. Here comes the 81, and wow, it's just amazing how much mid-corner grip this fresh rubber has compared to the guys on the older tires. It's absolutely insane how much more speed they're able to carry on the mid to exit. Yeah, that's really where they're making up the time.
Yeah, it's really not on the entrance, like you were saying. It's not on entrance where you really see it. It's when you're able to throttle up mid-corner to exit. That's when you really see that 56 jolt away from someone like Michael Stroll on the older tires. It's really where you gain all your time, is on that exit. If you can master that exit, it's really easy to get under someone and just cut under them out of turns 2 or 4.
There's no signs of Riley Thompson slowing down at any time soon. Looks like he's good. He's charging up here for the lead. And honestly, with the pace he's showing, I think he might be able to take it and keep it.
You'll have to keep going, too, because Shane Terrian's trying to gain all his track position back. He's going to get 6 from Will Roberts as Will Roberts falls into the clutches.
Whoa!
Oh, no.
Brad Slaughter Jr. for a little bit of a slide out of turn 4. It's been calamity cornered so far tonight. A couple guys getting loose out of there. Take a look at that once again. That was a bit of a heart attack, I imagine, for him.
Same thing at a turn 4. It looked like the same thing as Pistorius, just throttled up too much and couldn't hold it. Might have hit the curb as well. He also did hit the curb. Unlike Hayden Pistorius, he was able to hold on to that somehow. You got to watch out. You hit those curves, it's good night for you.
So he will continue onwards. He's got to try to get back past Stroll up into 4th place. We're looking back at it. Here comes Thompson already up to the back bumper of the 24.
Gonna send it high, get the exit low. Stroll actually just got a big bump. Stroll's gonna get turned, and he's gonna get a big stack up. DeWeese might have gotten into the back of Brad Slaughter. Slaughter turned him there. I don't know if it was intentional,
but
that caused
caution. Wow, let's take a look at that.
Caused a huge stack up there. That got some damage to Tyler Hensley's car now, and Stroll.
There was the bump from behind. Around he went. Oh boy, that could have been That could have been a lot more disastrous than it was. Sorry, car.
Like Stroll missed the corner, and 81 was in between getting under him and kind of just sitting there. And I think the 8 checked up in the center of the corner more than he wanted. I don't think Slaughter meant to do that. Just a bit of a stack up there.
Yeah, tight quarters, and it's caused a big stack up in behind. Still, guys, all nose to tail in behind. There you see Danny Ware making a move to the inside of Will Roberts, and Roberts has been slowly dropping on back.
Oh, spinner. Nope, he saved a Casey Shoe dropping back. He almost spun out of turn 4 as well, but he's able to save it.
And up ahead, Riley Thompson, who's able to get past Thomas Bresci. He's now going to set his sights on the race leader, Nick Massey, in the 20 car.
Last time by, fastest driver was the 83 at Terrian, but he's got a ways to go. Actually, it was DeWeese, but the 83 and that 1 car have a ways to go to get anywhere near where Riley Thompson did in a short amount of time. He's got about 2 seconds to gain on Riley Thompson right now, and on even tires, you got to keep with him.
Shane Terry also lurking in the 83. Remember, he's got a lot of points to make up on the 24. Bresci, know that Elwood's out of the picture. It's really him trying to chase down Bresci. Hope that things go wrong for the 24, and I'm sure Bresci's going to do everything in his power to make sure. He's been given a very big gift. Can't afford to lose it now.
The best part about it right now, best part about Nick Massey is that 24 hasn't gotten any bonus points, so he's really only 1 point up on the 83 after coming into tonight right now. So if he can get by that 24 and maybe hunt for the lead, get it from either the 56 or the 20, he's at least gaining points, and that's all he really needs to do. If you gain points, you still give yourself a shot. Side by side, Tom Bourne's actually going by Michael Stroll right now.
Yeah, Stroll's been dropping on back, so you see the fresh tires are definitely worth something, as we're pretty much run about the same amount of time we ran before that first yellow came out. So it worked out a very good call for these guys to come down and get that fresh rubber. Yeah, they're going to be down a tire set, but I think it might have been a deciding factor for a lot of the races, as Riley Thompson still bearing down on the leader. He slowed down a little bit, but he's still coming at him.
Basically an even time to Nick Massey last time by, and that time by he was about over a 10th faster. Yeah. So we'll see how hard it passes to make when he gets to Nick Massey, because I can't guarantee with how green it's going, Massey's going to want to keep the track position. He won't want to let him by, so there should be a race for the lead here, and even then the 56 has got to make sure he keeps pace, because that 83 is going to get right to him.
And you see the 83 in the background trying to square up Thomas Bresci, looking at Massey and Riley Thompson. The lap difference last time by half a tenth gain for Riley Thompson. And behind, we'll take a look at Bresci and Terrian as they begin to size one another up. Terrian having a little bit of a look down into 3. I'm curious again what Bresci is going to do. He's going to force the 83 to go the hard way around.
I don't think he can go the hard way around. If he really holds you up that badly, it might just have to give him a little bit of a bump and push him up the track, but we'll see if Terrian's even willing to do that, because I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't. He's driving hard off of turn 2, actually scraped the wall, shows the nose, sends it down there, almost hits the curb, but Bresci's not going to budge.
Yeah, Bresci gave him a little bit of room on entry, but was not there or really able to do anything on the exit for the 83, so you have to size back up and try again. As we look at Riley Thompson now on the back bumper of Nick Massey. Poor exit for the 20 out of turn 2. Here comes Thompson diving it up the inside. And Massey way out of line. I don't think he's going to contest this too much. He knows it's a losing battle. He'll still try to rock around the outside, but Riley Thompson will lead the lap and clear in turn 1.
The one bonus point for him to get him higher into points, as Shane Terrian got under for 24 into 3 and 4. Terrian didn't let him by, but he had to give way in 1 and 2. Just didn't have the grip. So Terrian's up the 3rd, and he's got his work cut out for him with the 56 to the lead.
Yeah, Alpha Terry is now the guy who's going to be directly racing up the track. It's the guy with the same strategy of it. That's going to be Riley Thompson. He's out, got clean air, relatively clean air to work with. In fact, let's ride on board Riley. He's got about a straightaway until he'll catch the tail end of the field where you find Boomer Logan, Gervon, and David Mott Jr. are running 18th, 17th, and 16th respectively. There's a little bit of tire smoke. I think something just happened.
Might have seen a lockup. Might probably see a lock, but I've seen a lot of people locking up tonight. That was actually Case Lakatos. He had a bit of a slide into turn 1. He was able to save it, but definitely not going to help the tires doing that. And with a long run looming large, you kind of got to keep the tires on this.
Yeah, especially in this series too. We've seen that these guys have some. Well, we've seen, and I've also driven in it. Have been part of some very long green flag runs. That's the big thing to account for. In some other series, you can kind of bank on a caution coming out in due time, but in this series, there's a chance, a very big chance that we could go green all the way from here to the end. I mean, we ran Richmond flag to flag green, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't see why we can't do that here, at least for the remainder of this race, as Nick Massey, he's going to be praying for a caution to come out, because he might fall in other places. Shane Terrian is now looming over him.
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks we've only seen 3 or 4 cautions combined from the last 2 weeks, and like you said, Richmond went flag to flag, so it's not a league that has cautions every 10 laps like certain others, but it's still Martinsville. Anything can happen, but you got to believe that these guys are going to get pretty spread out here, and it's going to be very difficult to gain any time on one another if you can't keep it straight. As Nick Massey has a big slide into 1, and just like we say at the curse ensues, yellows out, Michael Stroll spun in 3 and 4.
Whoa!
Backed up right in front of a 33 of Gervin.
See what happened to him. Oh, had some help from Danny Ware, and around he went.
It's getting used up tonight. That's the 2nd time.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. Stroll has definitely been the ball.
Ware was the one that hit him last time, if I'm not mistaken. Going into turn 3 here, and Ware just hit him. That's all you can say about that, just hit him there.
Everyone did some great job taking evasive action to not hit him, so... I got too cautious, but not really getting torn up race cars. Bumpers have been used up quite a bit on some drivers, and here we go down to pit lane. Terrian staying out.
If he's going to like to save that tire set, well, Riley Thompson's just going to keep his track position when he can and take that 2nd set for him. This is Massey and Bresci's 1st set. This is Riley Thompson's 2nd set, only 1 set left. The 83 stays with 2 sets left, but he's going to be on worn tires just like those leaders were last time. The Weiss, Hensley, Slaughter Jr., Danny Ware, Pastorius, Lakatos, and Casey Shue all stayed out.
And this is what I love about this series. Again, this is one of the few Starker series, at least that we've done for Sim TV, that actually run. These guys can only have a certain amount of tire sets. They're only given 3 extra times that they can change tires during the entire course of the race. And what that does is basically mean that you can't come down just every single caution and take tires, because believe me, if that was the case, we would have seen everyone come down every single caution and change tires. But now because these guys have a limited amount of sets, they're trying to save them for as long as possible till they actually need them towards the end of the race. So we've seen some guys stay out, some guys decide to be more aggressive and come in a few more times, especially looking at Riley Thompson. He's down to 2 tire sets, same thing with Danny Ware. Both of them only have 1 fresh set of tires remaining for the remainder of this race. We're still shy of halfway. So it's interesting looking at them. They've been a little bit more aggressive, maybe arguably too aggressive. with their strategy? Because again, well, I think only one tire set for the rest of the race. That's going to be a bit risky.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It took Riley Thompson about 25 laps to get back to the lead from where he restarted, and now he's put himself in that similar situation again, as he's actually going to restart 7th. I think other people who stayed out the last time around pit, so he's only going to be 7th. It shouldn't take too long for him to get back to the lead, but if another yellow comes out, if we go on this pace, if it comes out around lap 100, you got one set to go for the last 75 laps, and you're going to be on worn tires if you stay out, and out of tires if you don't stay out. You put yourself in a vulnerable situation.
Yeah, and everyone has come down at least one time down to pit road, which is to be expected. I think a lot of guys especially don't want to be on the same set of tires anymore. We saw how Thompson was able to make quick work of them with fresh rubber, and I was going to have to do something fairly similar with the guys he's just running with. Mick Massey, Bressie all up there, but Shane Terrian, Braxton Deweese, Tyler Hensley, Brad Slaughter Jr., and Danny Ware will be your top 5 here as we get 1 degree into this time. So, fairly new top 5, save for the 83 of Shane Terrian. Maybe if these guys can do anything with their newfound track position up near the front.
Yeah, Terrian was pretty much 3rd. Deweese was actually 5th when that yellow came out, so 2 top 5 guys stayed down. We'll see if they can stay up there. Deweese, a guy who's came on strong at the end of the season so far, and he's trying to finally get a win. I don't think he's won this season, but he's been pretty close. He's always up there.
Field back in control of Shane Terrian here, working the way through 3 and 4. Finally back on the power. There we go. Green flag back in the air at Martinsville. Here we go, Braxton Deweese already trying to peel out a line, maybe have a look up the inside into turn 1, not quite able to get there. Terrian still leading one out. Riley Thompson, he's been a restart king, up into 3rd already.
Yeah, that didn't take too long. You start on that inside line. The guys on the old tires kind of just went up the racetrack, mainly Tyler Hensley, and they're all over the place right now as he's able to make it work to get up to 3rd already.
Yeah, there's a lap car.
That is Boomer Logan. 33, Jonathan Gervin pit right when we were going to pass him. The 85 is going to stay on track, so that puts over the L the first car 1 lap down for this race, and Logan's going to become the second.
Wow, and Thompson even aggressively looking to the outside to find a way on by. You can see Terrian and Deweese wiggling their tires, struggling for a grip. As Deweese getting a little bit sideways on entry into turn 1. Thompson getting held up, and here comes Bressie now, also looking at a chance to try to get past 56, but Thompson going to throw up the inside of Deweese and have a look for 2nd place. And these guys are about to get a little bit stacked up here. They got the lap car ahead to deal with.
Spinner, 19, Danny Ware, Casey Shue involved, as that's going to bring Lakatos into it as well, as Danny Ware got sideways out of 4.
That'll be the 3rd caution of tonight. Had a little bit of help, it looks like, from the 4 of Casey Shue.
Case Lakatos will Robert stack up. Lakatos probably got the worst of that, actually. Slammed right into the right side door of Danny Ware.
See if we could get a better picture here to see.
Just went up there and tapped him. Once again, not much you could say about that other than he just hit him.
Yeah, I guess it really just a matter of if that was malicious or not. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Not sure.
I am definitely 50-50 on that, at least. It's just odd. Sometimes you think you have more room than you do. Benefit of the doubt, the Casey Shue there. You tried to send it because you think you could throttle up and kind of just squeeze under him, and he just wasn't far enough under him to do that. So he just got into the left rear of the 19 of Danny Ware. And maybe Danny Ware wasn't happy with it. Maybe that's why I came across the track. But at the end of the day, he is trying to save it. It kind of saved Terrian, that yellow did, though.
Yeah, it did. And we'll actually just take a little bit of a break here until we come back live. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. And welcome back here to Martinsville Field, lining up through the back straightaway. Same order pretty much as before. Terrian Thompson, Braxton Deweese, Bressie, Nick Massey, your top 5. We were just watching Thompson try to wrestle the lead away from Terry until that caution came up. They're going to resume yet again. Here we go. Green back in the air at Martinsville. Terry leading him on down. Can Thompson make the fresh tires work on the outside? He's going to try. Oh, gets doored out of the way after Terry throws it in too hot. Deweese trying to work his way on through as well to clear for second place, but Thompson isn't giving up yet.
That was actually Deweese. Deweese gave a bit of a shot to Terry, and it kind of screwed the 56. The 1 gets on the apron, so that 56 is going to get the lead as he actually hit the wall at a turn 4. Deweese kind of caused that on accident. He's going to slot into 3rd, maybe 4th. Bressie's trying to make the outside work and get by Thompson.
Yeah, he's trying something. Bressie's got to get ahead of Deweese. He wants to have a shot at Thompson. Speaking of which, going to just throw it up the inside. He's going to barely be there. Going to gas it up mid-corner on entry to force his way into the inside line. Now drag race down the front straightaway for Terry. It might be a losing battle, but he's still not giving up that spot. Going to try to hold it on the outside lane.
Spinner, Casey shoes around, and he's going to get hit by Lakatos again as the yellow comes out.
And it's going to be Riley Thompson that'll be the leader. As the caution came out, as you mentioned, Casey Shue around, and this is actually started with 4, just threw it way too hot for Lakatos, and not really much he could do.
4 is finally getting going. Casey Shue, Lakatos again, nowhere to go as the 4 car. He definitely didn't see a gap there. It might have looked like he saw a gap. He did not see a gap there. He was trying to send it in hard, but if he sent it in any harder, he was going to absolutely kill either Will Roberts or Tyler Hensley. And he also wheel hopped at the same time, so he's obviously just going to spin it around to stay out of a wall. And again, nowhere for Casey Lakatos to go.
Yeah, 50's been a bit of a victim in a few wrecks tonight, so the car's going to get a little bit dented up. So hopefully, I will say there's definitely going to be worse ways to crash. It's just some slight bruises. I think he should be fine.
Everyone stayed on the lead lap there. Jonathan Gerwin, I believe, actually got his lap back. Casey Shue actually did get trapped lap down, and Deweese did come in for, I believe that's his 2nd set of the night.
Yes, that should no, it's showing weird. I think it should be a 2nd because he stayed out with Terrian. Was on the same strategy as him.
Could probably check.
Yes. It is his 2nd stop.
He definitely came down lap 30, and he didn't come down the last time, so yes.
So Deweese is going to continue back out in 16th.
Oh, sorry. I thought Shue spun under yellow. I was still on replay. Carry on.
So Riley Thompson, Shane Terry, and Thomas Bressie are top 3, and even throwing Nick Massey, I would say those top 4 really strong. We see all these guys in the front in some capacity so for tonight. In fact, let's actually just take a look at how many laps each of them have led. For Thompson, I would say it'd probably be one of the lowest amounts. If that's not the right graphic there.
I think Nick Massey should still have most laps led, which is an extra
Riley
bonus
Thompson
point.
has led 12 laps tonight for Shane Terrian, 15 laps. Thomas Bressie, he's actually led 0. I thought Bressie was up there at one point, but he's been close, no cigar for him, and definitely Nick Massey way out in front with 53 laps led.
That's something that the 83, 56, 24, those 3 guys are going to try to get that most laps led mark away, because that is one extra bonus point for a guy like Terrian who needs to make up 17 plus points. It matters a lot to get every bonus point possible.
And also looking at halfway points coming up at the end of lap 88. 10 points to 1st, 9 points to 2nd, 8 points to 3rd, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. So those guys are going to be looking at those points, especially Shane Terry. That could be a big chance for him to make out at least some sort of difference. Maybe if it's 1 or 2 points, that could make all the difference going into next week. He needs to be ahead of the 24 as much as he can. So far, he's doing a decent job at that, riding in 2nd place. But this restart's going to be key here because they're only going to have, I think, 4 laps of racing till those halfway points are given out. Well, not a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I believe 5 full green flag laps if it does go green to there. And on top of that, he has no fresh tires on the car right now. So Bressie's going to have the advantage. He has fresher tires. He has the inside line. He just follow Thompson through. 83 might fall back here, and he has to do everything he can to stay in front of that 24, or else if he loses points, it's not going to be easy to get any of those back. So this could be vital to the championship race here.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Here they go, running through 3 and 4. Thompson jumping on the gas. A fairly poor restart for the 83, not able to get on the line on time. And here comes Bressie now throwing up the inside for 2nd place. Going to take no prisoners as Terrian struggles for a grip in the outside lane.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Taryn to keep people behind him. I think it's going to be easier to keep guys like Stroll and Chad Simpson behind him, but these guys who have been at the front all race, the 20 of Massey, the 24 of Bresci, 56 Riley Thompson. Oh, Michael Stroll almost lost it out of 4. Hensley was able to save it.
Yeah, a bit of a checkup midfield for these guys as they're still getting themselves situated. Here comes Brad Slaughter Jr. looking up the inside of Will Robinson. It's a fight for 7th place. Back up in front, though. Don't want to peel away as Bresci all over the back bumper of Thompson now for the lead.
And 83 still over the back bumper of the 20. Bresci wants the top 10 bonus points, as many as he can get. Will he put the bumper to the Thompson is the question. I don't see him doing that, but he only has 2 laps to do it. He might have to consider. Oh, we got a wreck. Rick and 2. I think that was David Mott Jr., Boomer Logan leading on each other. Not sure what happened there, but they were able to save it.
Yeah, we'll continue agreeing. It's going to be 2 laps to halfway this time by. Bresci may see him get a little bit more aggressive for the next lap or 2. He's awfully looking. He looks like he's tempted to put a bumper, if need be. Because again, for Thompson, not so much of the championship fight as much as Bresci is. And Bresci is really just a matter of trying to just secure as many points as possible, make his life easier going into the final race next week at Chicagoland.
Ooh, Thompson missed the bottom. Here it comes.
Bresci saw an opportunity, try to take it. Not enough. He's going to lose a lot of momentum coming out of turn 2 and turn 3. Not going to be able to get quite back to him.
Whoa, here comes Terrian trying to get some time back.
Yeah, and he's just trying to at least get ahead of Nick Massey, so it'll be Thompson that'll lead at halfway, take 10 points to his name. Bresci 9 points, Terrian 8 points. So Terrian going to lose out on that. And finally, now Bresci going to look up the inside. Great run off the corner in 2. Drag race to turn 3.
It's really clutch for him to get any of those points, as they're still going to battle really hard. It looked like Thompson kind of baited him to the bottom to get the run off of 2 for that halfway point, but I think he did it a bit too much this time. It's going to be hard to fight on the outside, but he's going to fight him hard, and this might bring Terrian back into it.
Yeah, definitely may, as you see Bresci still struggling to deal with the 56. Thompson still going to try to give it his all, but it's going to have to yield by the time to get to turn 3. And Thomas Bresci finally going to be in the lead and get 1 point for leading a lap.
Yeah, it's going to be big for him to maybe pull away. If this goes green, could lead the most laps. And as I say that, I keep cursing them. The yellow's out. I'm trying to see if that's 4. It's Pistorius again. Out of turn 4 again as well.
Yeah, here, so this is just, oh yeah.
Loop it again. Just can't keep the rear tires under it. And this time he hits the inside wall pretty good.
Right on board to the inside of the 9 machine. Yeah, his gas up. You see him trying to fling the wheel right, trying to counter steer it, but not enough grip for him to do so.
Has not been the end of a season that Pistorius has wanted. He's been much better in the past, as Bresci, the leader, is going to come in. Thompson stays out. Shane Terrian stays out again, which is really surprising. Majority stays out. Will Roberts, Tyler Hensley. DeWee stays out. He just pit. Danny Ware and others.
I love these strategy games. It's really fun to watch.
Great.
It's really great to watch.
It's just mind games. It's mind games. It's mind games against the other drivers. It's also mind games against iRacing at some point. Sometimes it's whether or not iRacing is going to throw a yellow on you or not.
I feel like this is the equivalent of having a F1 tire strategy. You know, guys just selecting different compounds. I think the equivalent, you know, of when you switch on to the other compound. For this is really a matter of when you use those tires when you come into pit, when a caution presents itself. And we just saw Bresci take a big gamble. Not too many other cars. He's going to be expected to pop back out in 11th, so he's going to be pretty far back midfield. We saw Thompson be able to climb his way back forward, but still, that's putting yourself in a hole may not quite want to be in, especially with the amount of cautions he had recently.
That's what he had to do. He's only down to 1 set. If he takes that set there, he has 85 plus laps on 1 set of tires for the rest of the race.
Terrian, he's waiting for something. He's got 66 laps on this set. He still has 2 extra. You can see right there, he's only made 1 pit stop. Ignore the last pit. He did not pit 1 lap ago. He pit 66 laps ago. So he's been out there on these old tires for quite a while. I think if I expected anyone to come down the pit road last time by, it would be this 83. He's currently out there on the longest of these tires by a long shot. Riley Thompson, Chad Simpson, Michael Stroll, and even Bresci before he came into the pits, they're around 30-ish, 32, 33 laps on their tires. So Terrian doing double that amount.
He was able to make it work, though. He's saving a set in the meantime, and he was able to make them work. He got by Nick Massey on that final lap of the halfway point, so he was able to get a position. He was even closing in on Bresci and Thompson's battle for the lead, so he's been able to save the tires really well and keep track position in the process. You could save a set and still have pace. It's really smart driving by the 83, and Riley Thompson, his reasons for staying out, well, he like we just talked about it, actually. 85 laps on one set, that's no bueno.
Yeah, and I think for Shane Terry, that extra set can really come into play if we go green for quite a while and caution comes out later in the run. I mean, depending on how many laps are left in the race, he could get a nice fresh shot of good news. Everyone else is struggling on old sets and they can't change out of it, and he can have the advantage, and I think that's what he's trying to set himself up for. But I think what he's got to hope is that he gets another short green flag run. I think if we get a long run, I feel like he's going to get put on the back foot here. I think he's been a bit lucky also, too. We've been having some fairly short runs as of late.
Yeah, one thing that what Shane Taryn really needs, he needs about a 25-30 lap run to about lap 120 or 125, and then he can pit for a set. And Riley Thompson would surely have to come in for his set, and then what he needs after that is about another 20 lap run, and then you take that final set, you're pretty much on the best set of tires for the rest of the race. That's what he needs to happen to be in a really good spot.
And Shane Terry also hoping Bressy finishes as far back as he is at the moment. That would cut the points deficit to him in about half. As we get ready to go green here, Thompson back on the gas, and we're green again at Martinsville. Chad Simpson trying to get a decent restart up on the inside. Is he going to have enough car to throw it to the inside of Taryn? Indeed he does, as he tries to scrap for second place. There's Nick Massey, who I haven't seen up in the front in a little bit, as well as Stroll, who's also found himself with some decent track position, now stuck on the outside though.
Stroll's been involved in a few incidents, but he's been able to survive and get back into the top 5 as Massey gets 4th from him. He's going to hopefully not drop back too far, but DeWeese has fresher tires, not the freshest, but he did pit the second to last yellow, so he's trying to get back into the top 5.
There's
Stroll.
And Stroll's going to get himself to the bottom lane. No, he's going to get forced up as DeWeese is going to chuck his car to the inside saying, no, 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 not today. And he will try to get the spot away. And as here you go, Chad Simpson still working. Terry's been doing a fantastic job holding the 42 at bay. He's not been giving him an inch to work with as he continues that scrap for second place.
Yeah, 83 is trying to keep the track position that he can. Chad Simpson's throwing it in just as hard as he is, and it's really stacking everyone behind them up as Riley Thompson just has clear track to work with as DeWeese. They're just trying to find anywhere to go to get by these guys. Same thing for Bressy as Michael Stroll still pinching that 24 down hard as we got a spinner. Boomer Logan's around.
Brady goes in the background and the caution is not going to fly.
He's off track. If he gets it going here, no one behind him, that's going to stay green. That's unfortunate for Logan. He was almost top 10, but we stay green.
Might see another caution come out here as DeWeese very sideways off at turn 4. He's going to try to get it back under control. Here goes Bressy trying to rip the top lane around the outside of him. It's a very close quarters battling here at Martinsville.
My goodness, I can't believe that wasn't a yellow, but we do stay green like we've been talking about. That 8 of Stroll has really been going backwards. He can't get on the bottom line, and it's cost him here as everyone on the bottom line just ganged up on him. Tom Bourne actually got a shot from Will Roberts. Those two battled pretty hard as Bressy on those fresh tires not making them work like everyone else was able to. Just can't find a hole through anywhere as Massey's stuck on the top now.
Yeah, really for Bressy, I think he needs to get himself to the bottom lane. That bottom lane is so important. As you saw with Stroll, he was still falling back. He's got Brad Slaughter up his inside, not letting him get back down. As you see Chad Simpson finally looks like he's just barely able to clear the 20. No, he's going to have a very conservative entry. It's going to back all these guys up nose to tail.
DeWeese gave him a bumper, almost spun the 42. Will Roberts almost spun the 24 in the background. That's not what the championship leader wants to see. He doesn't want to see a hungry Will Roberts.
Look at this. Look at these guys stacked up, nose to tail. A little bit of a bump for the 24 to the 1 of DeWeese. Will Roberts now fancying his look on the outside. Who attacked to the 20, and the 20 goes wide, almost into the back of Chad Simpson. 3 wide in the middle of the corner, 4 wide for a second. As you see Will Roberts getting a little bit of a door. He's going to hold 81 down, almost put him into the inside wall. Lock up from the 3. Oh boy.
That's how important the bottom lane is here. Everyone's trying to block people to the inside wall to get it. Nick Massey's going to try to get in line. This restart has not been good to him. He's back to 7th. Battle for 6th. Tom Bourne out of nowhere to get the 5th on the inside of DeWeese. And that worked out for Thomas Bress. He got by all that trash and garbage. He's going to go for the 3rd position on Chad Simpson now.
Where did Tom Bourne go from 16th all the way to 5th as he's struggling to get that final spot away from DeWeese, who's still fighting on that outside lane? Fantastic climb forward from him, and these guys are absolutely cutthroat. We still got over 70 laps left to go in this race, and these guys are acting like it's the last lap.
Yeah, this is crazy. And on top of all this, even with the older tires, Shane
Terry is the 3 going around.
That's
go on to it. Gonna door the 44, but keeps it going straight.
That's big damage for Tyler Hensley. That hurt Hensley more than it did Will Roberts, as once again, somehow we stayed green, and I was about to say how the 83's been able to keep pace. He's right on the rear bumper of Riley Thompson, and he's got to go because Bressy's there on fresh tires now.
Yeah, this is similar to what we saw with Casey Shoot at turn 1. Will Roberts was able to somewhat save it. It had a little bit of help, whether Hensley wanted to help or not.
Oh, he didn't.
By dooring him. But as we mentioned, coming back to lead, this is very surprising.
Yeah, he was able to. That was definitely an assist by Hensley, and Hensley was not happy with that assist there. He's definitely not happy with
I'm
Will
amazed
Roberts.
that Shane Terrian has been able to catch back up to the 56. I'm not sure if Riley's used up his tires too much or what the story is, but this is he's actually, look, he's throwing it up back up the inside. How about that? Terrian not giving up. Gonna force 56 to get to the outside lane, and Bressy waiting in the wings. A top 3 battle here with less than 70 laps to go for the lead.
Bressy thought about 3 wide, thought better of it. 56. Thompson's going to pinch him as hard as he can, but he must not have the tire. He does have a decent amount of damage. I can't imagine it would hurt him too much, though, as these two are going to battle it out for the lead. This is big for Terrian.
Terrian trying to keep the car again. Really, we're talking those fresh tires help you a lot on the exit, and that's where Terrian's struggling to be pitched out the inside.
No.
Bressy sizing up a move to the inside to make it 3 wide. I think you might have to wait for the last 5 laps to do something like that. Not with whoa!
Thompson into the wall.
Oh, big
him.
wreck. Big wreck on the backstretch. That might have been a hardware failure. The 56 just went right into the wall. A hard lick.
Wow. That was a hard... That had to be... Yeah, you see the wheels turn to the left there? He even said over the radio his wheel disconnected. And I've had that happen before. It had to happen at Daytona. It's not good there.
Oh, yeah.
And you could see the
even the gas,
speedometer, yeah, the speedometer in the red, fully gassed up. That's definitely a hardware failure, and that's going to absolutely kill his race.
That's so unfortunate. A competitor out due to really nothing. There's nothing really you could do there. And for Bourne, I don't think much he could have done it either as well. That happened very quickly.
Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate for him to have that happen. That is going to be pretty devastating for his race. He was definitely... It's almost like something on his wheel was... It's definitely unfortunate for Tom Bourne. It's definitely... It's like something was going away on his wheel because he had fresher tires and he wasn't getting away. It's almost like he had that issue happening. I've never heard of that happening. It's almost like a tire going down in real life, but it's almost like his wheel was starting to go away during the race because he had the fresher tires but didn't have any sort of speed advantage.
Yeah, it was very surprising to see. Unfortunately, going to take out at least one of the competitors. You still got a lot of guys with very strong cars near the front of the field. And notably, Bressy staying out on his set. And then we have, let's see, where is he? Shane Terrian just came back down onto pit lane. This is going to size him up very nicely. He's got 1 extra set, and he's lined up in 7th place. So he's got a good set to go with. I mean, theoretically, he could go to the end of the race and probably not have too much of a problem. But he's got that extra set waiting in case he wants to use it, and I think for most of the field, they're not in as good of a position. Looking at Bressy, Dewey, Slaughter, Hensley, Lakatos, and Pistorius up ahead, all of them around 20-30 laps on their second set of tires. They do also have an extra set, but Terrian, he's got a fresh set to work with and a fresh set waiting in storage. So he's like, as far as the tire strategies were concerned, he's looking the best. It's just a matter of can he execute it. And I definitely think he can. He's got a pretty fast car.
Yeah, I think he definitely can execute it. What this 83 car needs to happen, he needs this to go green. And then he needs to, when he gets to the lead, if he gets to the lead, but if he gets to the lead, passes Bressy, then the yellow can come out. It doesn't matter. He has a tire advantage and everything. He can stay out or pit, and he'll probably be in the best spot possible. So he just needs this to go green until he can make a move on that 24.
Big Massey's also come down pit lane as well, so he's also, this is his second set of Goodyears, so he's got 1 more waiting for him. I don't think if anyone else has come down all 3 times. It looks like Hayden Pistorius has made a trip 3 times down. Actually, I think that might have been for damage. I think he still has extra set remaining, I assume, because he spent a decent amount of time in the box. So as we go 1 degree this time by, field back in control of Thomas Bressy. Braxton Deweese, Brad Slaughter Jr., Tyler Hensley, and Casey Lakatos will be your top 5 on the restart.
This is the first 2, probably the first 2 retirees of, probably the first 2 retirees of the race. Riley Thompson, we'll see if he continues, and same for Tom Bourne, but they're probably done. Really the first 2 retirements because Alan Elwood didn't even start this race.
Indeed, as you see the field working through 3 and 4, Bressy leading him on down. We're back green here at Martinsville.
A big jump for Bresci. It's what he needed as he gets in front of Deweese, but Deweese does get down for second. And look at Casey Lakatos almost trying to battle for fourth. No front end.
Hey, you don't really need a front end. I would argue some weight reduction going on for the front of the 50 car. Trying to throw it to the inside of Tyler Hensley now, who's stuck in slowing down the top lane. Brad Slaughter Jr. will clear himself for third, as Lakatos now again trying to get clear of that 44 machine. Well, he might be trying to lead him a spot in line or not, as he continues to duke it out on the back straightaway. There's Shane Terrian waiting in the wings. He's trying to get past these guys as soon as possible. He's got fresh tires to burn.
Hensley up the track. That'll give the 83 room on exit. He'll be able to clear Hensley easily. Nick Massey trying to follow him as he'll take a look under Case Lakatos. Lakatos will give him the bottom, so the 83 likely to move up to the fourth position here as there he goes. 50 gives it to him.
There is a chance to put himself in a dominant position here. If he can get himself up to the front and to the lead. He's got Brad Sutter Jr., Deweese, and then Thomas Bresci, leader of the race at the moment, to deal with. Also, Nick Massey behind can't count this 20 car out quite just yet. Led majority of the early portion of this race. He's not been up into the lead for a little while, but still 53 laps led. He's going to try to ride the coattails of the 83 Terrian, who's just gone past Brad Slaughter, up for third place.
More cars in between him and Massey, the better. He has to go at as fast of a pace as possible. Actually overdrove it in the turn one there, but the more cars, the more time and cars he can put between him and Massey, the better chance he has to pull away for the win, regardless if the yellow comes out or not. He's driving so hard into these corners and out of these corners, trying to make up every bit of time possible as he's up to Deweese's rear bumper for second already.
I'll argue a little bit too hard. He's really throwing it into these corners. Look at how much he catches up on the exit. Going to immediately get to the inside of the one here of Deweese. They're going to both be side by side in 3 and 4. And nothing the one can do to try to defend from that. And still Massey trying to deal with the 81 of Brad Slaughter Jr. He's giving him a bit of a hard time.
Trying to give everyone a hard time. Just nothing you can do. Older tires just they don't get the drive off like you want him to when you stay out like that. He's trying hard though, giving it a good run. He'll be able to do it more easily with a car with no front bumper, but Nick Massey's through.
He is looking at looking further up. Shane Terry now setting his sights on the 24 Thomas Bresci, and for Bresci, again, this is a matter of just keeping yourself in check at the moment. He's got the 83 closing on him. We'll see what he does.
I think Shane Terrian is the only guy. Actually, no, I was about to say he's the only guy with no front bumper damage, but Thomas Bresci doesn't have any either. So those two have kept it clean for the most part. Even Chad Simpson. It could easily change, no doubt about it. A track like this, we're definitely speaking too soon on that one, but.
And really for Terrian, he's gonna need this 24 car to probably wreck out of this race. I'm not sure if he necessarily wants to be the car to do so, but. Listen, he does need a lot of points. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not trying to accuse Shane Terrian of ever kind of trying to wreck Bresci, but he needs something bad to happen for the 24, and he's going to throw it up the inside. I don't think he's going to want to be the one to induce something like that to happen. Well, he's going to be a little bit aggressive in 3 and 4, both of them riding on one another, not exactly during, but very close quarters, as Bresci trying to give him a fight.
That's as close as you can get to each other without Doring. Bresci just pinching him as hard as he can, but the tire advantage too strong to overcome. The 83 Shane Terrian back to the race lead.
And Terrian really playing the strategy to perfection. He's going to get the lead, and he's going to have an extra set to work with. Well, all these other guys are also going to have to make one more stop. So if everyone comes in for another stop for their final set of tires, Terrian will be back out in front. Won't have the tire advantage, but he'll definitely have the track position. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do anything with work with that, as he's probably going to start driving away now from Bresci. Here comes Nick Massey. He was able to get by Deweese and now is setting his sights on the 24. A little bit further back, Casey Lakatos is holding on for 6th place at the moment after staying out, as well as Brad Slaughter Jr. Also, both these guys are old tires. Slaughter's been out here for 50 some odd laps on his tires. Lakatos 35.
Yeah, 50's really hanging on as hard as he can. Able to make it work so far, but sooner or later, Chad Simpson might get a bit too impatient, because at the end of the day, we are inside about 50 laps to go, so time is going to start running out, so you got to go sooner or later. Brad Slaughter Jr. is actually sort of holding all these guys up as I say that, so it's not even really the 50. Slaughter Jr., I think he's on older tires trying to make that work.
Yeah, his tires, I think 57 to 58 laps this time by as it ticks over, so he's been on these old tires for quite a while. Lakatos, who was getting the rear end from Chad Simpson, as he gets very close to him under braking. Simpson with fresh tires. Lakatos looks like he's going to go up high, give a lane to the 42. As he's just trying to hang on.
He's still going to give him a fight, but not much you can fight with right now. You could give him the bumper, but they might not even feel it because you don't have a bumper. But you still have a bumper bar at least, so you don't really need the sheet metal. As long as you got the bar, you should be fine.
Yeah, we might show the bar here. We'll have to see. Lakatos still trying to make it life difficult for Simpson. We've also got Michael Stroll in behind. And for Stroll, it's been a fairly up and down night for him, to say the least. Not really of his own doing. He's just been kind of beat around and has found himself back in 8th. As he works his way on by Lakatos now up into 7th place.
It would make that work. He's been wrecked at least twice. He's been able to get back to the front a few times. He's trying to trek his way back to the top 5 behind Chap Simpson as they all close in on Slaughter Jr. again. Well, battle for 2nd. Bressy's going to have to give way to Nick Massey, who's trying to chase down Shane Tarrant and keep pace with him, but it's not working well so far, but he is finally through to 2nd.
If I'm not mistaken, Nick Massey is a teammate to the 83. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure they're hanging on the Discord. Please be right.
I don't. I
could have sworn that they were teammates. They're not in Discord.
I do not see them. They don't have to be in Discord. Neither of them are, but it's usually we want the team channels, but you don't have to be in there. Let's just assume they're in the same Discord channel in their own Discord. Let's just keep it at that.
Yeah, because they both were actually, I think, on identical strategies. They both came in last time by. They both have a set remaining, so I think they were planning that. And so far, so good for them, being 1 and 2.
Daniel Ware got really sideways. There's still battles all around the racetrack, even if it's cars with no front bumpers and clean cars. Battle for 5th still heating up. Slaughter Jr. Simpson can't get by him, and Stroll's going to go to the inside for the 6th position now, and they're still battling hard for 12th on back. Will Roberts, Casey Shue have been going at it.
Yeah, you can see mid-court how much Simpson closes up, but nowhere for him to really go up and really just get up and behind the 81. You'll see again a 1 and 2 right here. The 81 car can just not turn. You can see nice and clearly the VRS logo on the hood of the 42 Chad Simpson's car.
Front bumper on that 42 still clean, but for how long is it going to stay that way with how much he's getting held up by Brad Slaughter Jr.? I'd already have hit him if I were him. That's just how I drive.
I would have given it a little bit, at least a little bit of a love tap. Ooh, 88. The 8 car behind looked like he was about to give a little bit of a love tap to Chad Simpson, because now it's go time, especially if you have fresh tires. In fact, Chad Simpson and Stroll both have fresh tires. Comparison to the rest of the field, they both pit last caution, so I'm surprised they're not being more aggressive on the 81, just punt him out of the way and get on with it. But do they want to do it the nice way?
Oh, almost hit him there. He tapped him there, but no damage on it. It's usually a set of 3 bumps. 1 bump, I'm there. 2, you're holding me up. 3, you're done. So we haven't even... Oh, he's going to get turned in on. Slaughter didn't want to give it to him. Simpson had to take it.
Yeah, and Simpson going to just force him out of the lane, say thank you very much, I've been behind you enough. And going to try to work his way on through. Slaughter not probably too happy with that. It's going to try to pinch down on exit. And now Simpson going to get clear. Stroll going to try to do much of the same. It's a great run, and actually the 81 going to let him on by, it seems.
Wanted to let him by, but Stroll didn't get enough of a run into 3 to exactly let the 8 machine by, but he gets it down behind him anyways. Danny Ware, who's been around 2 or 3 times, is up to 8th. Shows how crazy Martinsville can be, as we still got guys battling 15th on back. Will Roberts has fallen back pretty far. He must have had a slide somewhere because he fell back a few positions there.
Yeah, remember we saw him get very sideways not too terribly long ago. I'm not sure if that was the same stint as we're on now, but has dropped back quite a bit back into 14th after having a really good early running, mostly inside the top 10. So see if he can still turn the race around. Not too many laps to do so as we're approaching under 30 laps to go. Shane Tarrant up in front. Nick Massey slightly chasing him down. Not quite over yet. 8/10 separating the leaders, and Massey's been eating away at him a few hundredths a lap.
He's not too far behind, only about 8/10, but even then a few hundredths won't do it in 30 laps. You'll have to make it work. He might get lap traffic to help. David Mott Jr., Will Roberts, Jonathan Gerber, and other guys like that will probably get lapped by the end of this race at the pace the leaders are going compared to them, so you never know. Anything could happen. Massey did lose time that time by, but we still have plenty of time to make something happen for a bunch of these guys, and there could still be a yellow.
Yeah, there definitely have. I think there have been a few tonight, I think around 4 or 5 that we've had so far this race. As Massey, I think it's going to probably come down to a matter of who's saved the rubber really, mostly on the long run. And it's we haven't really had too terribly long of a run. I think maybe around 40 laps, 30 laps is probably our longest. So we're starting to enter uncharted territory for some of these guys, and some of them may have been running the car a little bit too hard. I'm sure for Massey's hoping that Terry ran the car too hard so he can try to close back up.
Yeah, no one really practiced many long runs, I assume. I saw Bresci practicing one, but he has no tire advantage on anyone, which is really going to hurt him for the race for the win if this does go green to the end.
And speaking of Bresci, he's in no man's land at the moment. There's not really many cars around him. Not sure if I can try to get a shot here of it.
He's faster than the cars behind him and slower than the cars in front of him.
So there's Nick Massey, there's Bresci about a turn behind, and then all the way back there is Braxton Deweese. He's got a lot of clean air, so he's kind of by his lonesome here. As Deweese now going to fall under prey. We saw Simpson and Stroll mounting pressure from Brad Slaughter Jr. Had to get a little physical with him. We'll see with Deweese. Imagine he's not just going to keel over and give fourth place away.
Tyler Hensley also giving a bumper to Case Lacatus in the background as Deweese trying to hold on again. Another good top 5 run for him. Just never really a guy you see going for the wins. Obviously, it's been Alan Elwood for most of the season, but he's never a guy who really contends for the wins, but he's always consistently up at the front, getting decent runs in the top 5, being consistent. That's what really matters in a league like this. Just staying consistent is all you really need.
Looking at Braxton Deweese up in front, keeping ahead of the 42 and the 8 at the moment. We saw Simpson close back up. He was a little bit aggressive on the back of Slaughter. I'm curious how it's going to fare for Deweese. If he's going to be even more aggressive. I mean, we only got now just about 25 laps to go. So really getting down to crunch time.
Race with a lead is so back and forth. It was 9/10. It's down to 7.5 last time by, even though Massey was slower last time by. So it was really down to close to 6/10 this time by. Terry in a 2.58. Massey's a little bit shorter. It's always back and forth.
These lap cars up ahead of these guys, they're going to catch them in a hurry. There's your leaders now. So they got some lap traffic to deal with, and this could be the big difference in what maybe Massey could be hoping for, that Terry gets held up. There's David Mott way out of late. He's struggling at the moment, all the way back in 15th, still in the lead lap, but probably for not much longer.
Looks like Otis, in the meantime, let Tyler Hensley by for that position. This is going to really help Terry, and the 20 is going to catch him at a terrible time out of the corner, so the 20 is just going to lose time there. Nothing he could really do there.
And Gab now almost back a second. That helped Terry quite a bit. Still some more lap traffic to work with and some more laps to turn. As Terry now setting his sights on Will Roberts.
Ooh, Slaughter had a big slide into turn 3. Meanwhile, Michael Stroll's finally in the 5th position. He passes Chad Simpson, and he's going to have a crack at Braxton Deweese.
Here's how he did it. Got a great run out of turn 2 and just was able to throw it up the inside of Simpson, and not much else he could have done about that. So exchange for position between both those drivers. We'll keep an eye on this battle, because imagine Stroll's not going to quite settle for 5th with 4th right in front of him.
And Danny Ware is going to get by for the 7th position. Gets by, I believe, his teammate Brad Slaughter Jr. there.
Brad Slaughter going to slowly stop dropping back. He's been on his tires for 82 laps, our oldest of the field at the moment, so he's going to be hurting quite a bit. Look back at our leaders just for a quick second. Terry and Massey closing in on Will Roberts. As Deweese, Stroll, and Simpson racing for 4th place.
I feel like if a yellow is going to come out, it will probably be in the final 10 laps or something, because we're starting to see a lot of drivers get really slidey in and out of a corner, starting to wheel hop into these turns, just like Will Roberts has been doing all race. So we're how the tires are very worn now. We're easily at risk for someone to self-spin again.
Indeed, as you see Hensley throwing up the inside of Brad Slaughter. Slaughter going to drop yet another position back into 9th. Casey Lacatus now waiting the wings to get past 81, who looks like he's just nursing his tires till the end here.
Deweese went up the track there. Here comes Stroll. He got a big run out of turn 4 to go for this 4th position, and not much Deweese can really fight with as he's sliding those tires in the turns, as Stroll's going to roll the bottom and pretty much clear him out of turn 2 as there he goes.
Yeah, not much said in that. Oh, for the 42, Chad Simpson not quite able to establish himself in there. Deweese really throwing the car hard. Looks like he was trying to give the bumper back to the 8, but that kind of just ruined his exit. Now here comes the 42, Simpson established alongside. Going to be a quarter panel back. And the one going way hard into turn 1, and that's going to give an easy pass for Simpson, who checks out on exit.
I think Dewey sent it in at 3 to stay in front of Chad Simpson, but it didn't work, and he hit Stroll in the process, so that's not going to work. It looked like he just had no drive out of a corner. Got to watch the right front, too. The rear tires wear a lot, but if you wear that right front out too much, it will go down, as Danny Ware might be having that happen because he went way high in 3 and 4.
Let's see if he starts struggling here. Tyler Hensey's been making quick work for some of these guys towards the mid to back part of the field. Up into 8th place at the moment, looking at 7th if he can catch the bumper of the 19. Up in front, our leaders, the gaps have been expanding out quite a bit. Terry DeMasi, 1.5 seconds. It was as low as 0.8 of a second about 20 laps ago.
Yeah, I saw last lap, a 22 flat by Nick Massey. He slid in turns 1 and 2, so he's driving insanely hard, trying to gain time on him, but overdriving it at times as he fell back to 1.2 back, started getting that back, and then he fell back to 1.5, so it's a tall task to get that 83 now after the mistakes he's made.
Yeah, some heavy traffic approaching Chase Terry here in the last 15 laps of the race. If he can navigate it on through, be a fantastic performance from him. Probably won't be able to close in as much as he would like on Bressie, given what's the circumstances coming into this race with Alan Elwood having some troubles, not even able to start the event. Essentially giving a pretty easy tie for Bressie heading into Chicagoland. But we'll have to see here for Terry, and it's definitely going to give him some inroads. And just a solid race for the 83. Just did an absolutely perfect job on the strategy.
He might be able to get most laps led. He's definitely led more than Bressie, I believe, and he'll probably get by Nick Massey.
54, and remember, Nick Massey led 53, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you actually, I think this lap was able to just eke out ahead of the 20, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anyone's anywhere close to these two.
No, as it's really big bonus point to get. He needed to gain anything he could on Bressie, and the green flag run coming when it did, that was big because it looked like Bressie was probably going to get second or probably win even maybe, but he's falling back to third. He probably won't fall back farther unless a yellow comes out, so Terrian, there's not much else he could have done. He's going to pretty much get max points except for the bonus point for the pole, which went to Elwood.
Here comes Louise back on Chad Simpson, who got a very poor exit out of turn 1. I'm not sure the 42's having a problem late in the going. But DeWeese is going to work his way to the inside and get past for 5th place as Chad Simpson drops to 6th and looking kind of slow.
Yeah, it looked odd. It looked like he had no power out of the corner.
Yeah, it looks like he was almost 7/8 of a second slower last lap through it. Even Danny Ware started to close back in onto the 42 car.
I wonder if he had a slide of some sort. No, he just went really slowly. I can't imagine the tires going down. I know the tires wear here, but I wouldn't think the tire would be going down, but
I mean,
he really
take a look
at
it. Brandon Slaughter, he's still out there running decent laps. He's got 94 laps on his tires to Chad Simpson's 53. So it's a bit surprising to see if he's struggling with tires at the moment, but yeah, ended up yielding that spot to the one of DeWeese. He's trying to close it on Danny Ware.
He was driving them really hard at the beginning of the run, so that could have something to do with it, but I can't imagine he's going to blow the tire. Might have just worn the right front out too hard, trying to really send it into some of these corners.
Take a look back up at Chad Terry. He's already worked past the lap cars of, I believe that is Hayden Pistorius at the 33 of German. And now Nick Massey going to have to do much of the same, with still dealing with a 1.2 second deficit there. You see German being a nice guy, pulling off to the side, doesn't want to interfere in this battle. As we have 7 laps to go at the line.
Well, the battle's starting to fizzle out. Stroll's cleared of DeWeese by Simpson. Simpson still dropping back to Danny Ware and Tyler Hensley. Slaughter's on his own. Lakatos with no front end is still top 10. Then Boomer Logan and Casey Shue are close to each other. Then after that, it's Shane Terrian trying to run away with it, but that 20 car is still trying to close back in. Those 2 mistakes that cost him about a second really hurt him. He might have been there by now.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised about Massey on the rate he was looking at. It looked like he might have been able to close back into at least within closing range to maybe give a little bit of a bump and run, but unfortunately he's going to be just maybe a little bit too far back. Still has got 5 laps to go in case something's happens in the front. Who knows? You can see lap car spin, take out Terry. We see crazier things here on Sim TV in the last few laps of a race.
We've seen the leaders wreck each other. We've seen lap cars wreck, and we've seen lap cars wreck people. We've seen other lap cars cause wrecks, and the leader piles into it. We've seen pretty much everything here.
Definitely have here for Terry. He's going to hope he doesn't see anything. He just wants to have some nice, smooth sailing to the checkered flag after just getting out there and just running a very solid race. Figured out the strategy, stuck to it. and put himself in a solid position to gain, if not valuable points, at least another race win. Maybe his third win of the season if he can hold on.
3 laps to go this time by Massey. I definitely think if he didn't make mistakes, he'd be there because he's gaining about a 500th to a 10th per lap. So I think he had the pace to do it. Still driving it insanely hard into the corners and getting decent runs on exit, but just running out of time and running out of lap cars to hold Terry up.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Got 3 lap cars ahead of Terry, and I don't think they're going to really be a factor at this point in the going unless they wreck and bring out a caution here with half a lap to go before the white. Terry just crossing, keeping his fingers crossed, hoping no drama happens. And he's going to get at least one part of that wish come true. White flag in the air for the 83 of Shane Terrian. Excellent drive for the 83. Was at a bit of a hole coming into this round. Is not necessarily going to be out of that hole coming out of this round, but definitely gave it his all to try to make up something on the 24 of Messi. We'll see if it's going to benefit him next week.
Round.
As Messi goes turn around out of turn 4, it's going to be Shane Terrian. They'll take the W. For Messi, he does not get going in time, and that's going to be Thomas Bresci. That'll steal second place away with 1 quarter to go. Messi finally gets back going, but back in third. That's not what Terrian wanted. There's an extra point for Bresci.
Wow. Yeah, Terrian's probably not going to be happy about Massey doing that, but Massey was trying it, couldn't do anything about it. Stroll gets 4th, DeWeese 5th, Chad Simpson, Danny Ware, Tyler Hensley, Brad Slaughter Jr., Hayes Lakatos round up the top 10, and Boomer Logan, Casey Schuva, the last 2 drivers on the lead lap.
Terry lining up slowly here on the front strut, getting ready to burn it down. And there we go. And you know what the funny thing is? He still never used that extra set of tires he's saving up.
Yeah, he didn't even need to do it. It was just perfect strategy to get the tires when he did, and it played out to his advantage. The yellows fell at the right time, and the green flag runs fell at the right time, and he got almost max points as he did what he needed to do to stay in this championship race.
And definitely deserves to light it down. A fantastic drive for the 83 car. And as he's lighting him up down the front, down turn 2, take a look at your race results here. A solid job again for Shane Terry taking home the W. Thomas Bresci coming home with surprise second place after we thought he was definitely going to finish out in third. But Nick Massey going to take that after he had a spin in the final 2 quarters coming to the checkered flag. Michael Stroll in 4th with Braxton Lewis in 5th.
A lot of guys who needed a good run in the top 10. Case Lakatos, no front end. He got 10th. Slaughter Jr. recovered. Tyler Hensley got wrecked pretty early. He still got 8th. And Danny Ware had a few spins. He still got 7th. And Boomer Logan in 11th. A really good run for him.
Indeed, and looking at the rest of the field, it's really just amazing to see. Still, I'm really curious. I can't wait to see what happened to Alan Elwood all the way at the bottom of the standings there in 19th. After we did technically start the race, turned a lap, and then turned it back into pit road. So big question marks looming over that. But we'll take a look. We'll grab here Thomas Bresci. You got him waiting in the wings. Bresci, well, congrats on your second place finish after it was looking like it was going to be third with the white flag in the air. Yeah, and just a lot of things happened to you without happening to you. They happened to your competitors. So if you want to walk us through how your night went.
Yeah, I don't even know what to think. That sucks. I didn't think I was even going to be remotely close to where I needed to be halfway through practice, and then like 15-20 minutes left, I started to figure this thing out because the setup was awful. But and then started clicking off some good laps and figured out how to kind of have the right pace that I needed. I don't know what happened with Alan. I hope, it's kind of odd that he was kind of starting parked, but hopefully everything's good with him. But yeah, it was it sucks because I felt like I maybe could have won that one. I just felt like I had good long run pace, just kept getting bent over backwards by the cautions and things like that. So but what can you do? It was good points night though, so can't be too upset about that.
Yeah, definitely can. That's going to be the really big. My next question for you: what's the game plan going to next week? I'm sure it's probably a lot different than you thought before the night started.
It's a heck of a lot different than before I thought. Before the night started. But yeah, I guess just try and do what we did last week, maybe a spot better if we can. But I don't think that's happened if Elwood kind of does what he does. But Yeah, just go through and have a clean race. I think that's going to be the big thing. I know Shane's going to probably made up a little ground. I don't know. I mean, we might have gotten him with halfway, so it might kind of balance out. But either way, just try and do what we've been doing all year and just stay consistent. And maybe we'll walk out of here with a big one next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens to you, Bressy. Well, for now, solid second place finish. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Moving on now, we'll talk to Nick Massey, who ended up finishing in third. And Nick, well, first thing I gotta ask, what happened to you 3 and 4 coming to the checkers?
I don't know. It's just kind of lost talent down there, I guess. I'm not really sure. I didn't think I sailed it in there too hard. It just kind of started sliding and just spun around, and I couldn't save it.
Well, either way, you still got a very solid top 3, and I think that's pretty deserving. You ran very solid at the beginning part of the race. Unfortunately, you weren't quite up there, at least in the top position in the second half.
Yeah, it was fun. It's always fun when short tracks like this go green for long runs like that, and you get to kind of duel it out and save tires and play some strategy. I tried to get Shane there at the end. I was trying so hard, probably a little too hard, but I just couldn't close enough to get close enough. But had a blast.
Yeah, definitely, Nick, and also too, I imagine you're not in the championship picture, so what I imagine game plan for you next week is to just go out there and win it.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's a game plan every week. But yeah. We can play different strategies and can take risks that some of these guys can't. So
yeah, it was definitely a solid race for you. Just a little bit shy of getting that win, though, Nick. Congratulations on your third place finish.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And last but certainly not least, Shane Terry. We're talking to your race winner for tonight, Shane. Very solid performance from you. You did an excellent strategy call too. I'm not sure if that was planned or not. If you want to talk us through how that went, if that was the plan.
It was the plan. I had to do something different. and it paid off, and I was actually, to my surprise, when the tires cooled down on all those caution laps and I stayed out, I could keep up with fresh tires. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep staying out then until we get a nice long 30-lap run. And then it happened, and Bressy didn't pit, and stayed green from there.
Yeah, and also I think you're also aware what happened with Alan Elwood. So now Bressy going to take home the points lead, and I think you made up a few points on Bressy going into the next round. So I think by estimates, I think from Connor Horn, you are 19 points back from Bressy. So what do you got up your sleeve? I know it's a bit of a hole. Probably didn't even think you had a shot after coming out of coming out of tonight. But do you have any plan for trying to get back at him?
Well, I'm gonna have to beat Alan if I want to get max points. And Bressy's gonna have to finish last. With an 18-19 car field, he's gonna have to finish last. So I don't expect to win the championship. I'm just going to go out and win, try my best to win, and try and finally beat Alan's streak of 1.5 miles here, so we'll see. But I have no idea. Just going to hope for the best and see what happens.
Well, hopefully, I hope the best for you as well. Congratulations on your third win of the season.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I think it's going to wrap up interviews here from Martinsville. And after some very solid races, take a look at your final results yet again with Shane Terry coming home with the win after a very, very solid performance.
Yeah, definitely started off shocking with Elwood not making the start really, and really going to be tough for him to do anything with a championship. He knows how to dominate races, so it's not over until it's over, but a 32-point deficit by my count, very unofficial. By my count, 32 points is going to be tough to come back from. Stroll 34 back. Shane Terry unofficially 19 back. And like you were talking about in the interview, Thomas Bressy goes into Chicago now with a completely different mindset. He's trying to fend off Elwood for points, and now he's really just got to make sure he finishes the race. So it's definitely a change of pace. Really hope Elwood, everything's all right with Elwood. We still don't know what happened to him, but definitely a big change of pace for the championship. And Bressy, after all the seasons he's ran in field, finally has a chance to close it out.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see if he can get the job done next week. But for now, tonight, from the penultimate round here in Martinsville, we're going to be signing out. My name is Freddie Kuna here with Connor Horn, Lurtson TV. And have a good night.